What's up, everybody? Phil Hammer here with Shadow Team Airsoft, and today we are going to go over the VFC 6-hour MPX. So, right out of the box, what you're going to get is not this stock. It comes with the 6-position collapsible crane stock, I guess we can call it. However, this is the stock that comes on the MCX, which is the 5.56 rifle caliber gun that is produced by VFC and Sig Air. And I switched them around because I would much rather have this on here and then the other one on the MCX than the opposite. So aside from this stock being here, this is what you're going to get out of this gun when you get it out of the box. So working from tip to butt, we're going to go over the features of this gun, what I think about it, and do I recommend it or not. So starting with the tip, you have your standard metal birdcage A2 flash hider. Now, I took this off immediately, and when attempting to take it off, I discovered that this outer barrel is actually two-piece. So this whole system here, as you can see the inner barrel in there, just comes out. And then to access under here, you pop this pin out, and then holding your upper, because once this pin's out, your upper will come off. You pull your handguard off, which I'll lay here. And as you can see, this is your part that is attached to your upper receiver, and then forward you have your threads. So I took this off, and then I found I had a shorter barrel extension. So what I did was threw this on here, and I have my Mad Bull fur franz, and then folding these up like so. Once you put this handguard back on, which can sometimes be tricky, I will not lie. There it goes. Alright, so from there you can see I have this comp, essentially, set inside the rail, which looks nice. So taking that back off, maybe, there we go. That's just how I decided to do mine. Oops. Moving on from that, so your connector is going to be your standard Tamiya with your fuse here, and then those connect into bullet connectors here so that these come apart whenever you take your upper off. VFC didn't always do this. With their Spartan Imports 300 Blackout PDW, when you took the upper receiver off, there was no connectors here, so you peeled the whole Tamiya connector off. So I got one from a buddy of mine because that's what he did and didn't want to go through rewiring it, so he just got rid of it. Moving on from that, as you can see, your receiver or your handguard splits off. So this part is your top rail, and then you have about this much that is not actually physically attached to the top of the gun until you put the rail back on. Moving back from that, you have your ejection port here, which is where your hop-up access is. We'll go ahead and push the pin back in. This is accessed by your charging handle. Pops open like that. Unfortunately, this is all the room that you have. It does lock, but this is all the access to the hop-up you can get, which if you've got fatter fingers is kind of difficult. So if you pick up one of these, I recommend possibly keeping a easy access tool on hand. That way you can adjust the hop-up on the fly. The bolt release for this is actually ambidextrous, so you have one here on the right side, and then you have one here on the left side, and both of these will lock the bolt forward, just like that. And then you have your cut to size dust cover here. Mag release is ambidextrous. The gun comes with 100 round mid cap. As you can see, they have the fake 9mm bullets inside. So these are a little tricky to get used to putting in. Crash picked up one here recently as well and has the same problem, where if you don't put it in just right, it doesn't want to slide all the way into the mag well. This is something that can, as I look like a virgin on prom night, Be remedied by slapping the bottom of the mag, or if you get it lined up just so. I recommend kind of training your reloads with these a little bit, because sometimes it goes in nice and smooth just like that, and then other times you have to finagle it. So other than the mag well being a little bit tricky, and me not knowing why, because it looks like it should be straightforward, right? Wrong. Other than that, solid magazines, they feel really good. Made out of plastic, but they don't feel cheap. I can't crush this with my hand. It does have a little bit of, I don't know if you guys can hear that, kind of like a plastic on plastic rubbing noise whenever you squeeze it really hard. But I've tossed them on the ground, tossed this one on the ground a little bit to see the sturdiness of it, and I was not disappointed. Ambidextrous selector switch, works both sides. Essentially what you're getting is an Avalon, VFC Avalon setup in a cool looking SMG. Moving back from that, we won't go over the stock too much. It's adjustable here, collapses in. As I said, this goes on the MCX, but I prefer the opposite. Motor grip is very much nicer than the other SIG grips that come on the MCX. I like this design a lot better because it feels a lot better. Trigger is going to be your standard VFC trigger. And then internals wise, it is a stock Avalon. So whatever you get out of a VFC Avalon, you're going to get out of this gun. Motor is whiny. Gears are screechy. Kind of sounds like ass whenever you shoot it, but it does cycle pretty good. I chroned it on a 0.2 at about 375-ish feet per second, so it shoots pretty good. If you want to use this as an indoor gun, if you're going somewhere that has a 400 minimum, you can use it there. If you're using it outdoors, you still have FPS to get your rounds downrange fast enough that you can hit moving targets. So you're not getting that float and then somebody goes, nah. The spring system in this is a quick change spring system, which is accessed by removing the stock via the screw here. This will come off, and then you will have your quick change spring that you can access and pull out just with a, this doesn't have a size. This goes into one of my screwdrivers. You just put it in, twist, spring comes out, so you can switch springs on the fly. So if you have an M90 or so, you can cut down to, indoor field limits that are, 350 and below. And if you want to go back to field, then you can just put a heavier spring in and go from there. As I've said, mag release is ambidextrous. Mags are kind of picky. I picked this up off of Evike as soon as they hit the United States because I have been drooling over one of these forever. When I picked up my MCX for the first time, I bought a MP5 mag adapter for M4 and threw it in there and ran MP5 mags so I would have a MPX. So I'm really glad that VFC and SIG partnered up and dropped an actual two size and weight MCX or MPX. English is hard. I really like the look and feel of this gun. It doesn't really wobble. It feels very solid. It is set at a $450 price point, so for that it's better. However, my dislikes of this gun are the fact that this is your battery space. This is going to take an extremely tiny battery in order to fit in no more room than you have. So what I am thinking I will do is I have a Redline N7 sitting around that I picked up recently, and I believe I will drop it in here once I get the tank line and rig set up, and I'll just have an HPA MPX. I feel like that will work much, much better than the AEG version, trying to find batteries that will fit this. So the plan with this is I will take it, HPA it, and then put a foam suppressor on it, and have a super stealthy little SMG. Now these, as I said, are priced in around the $450 range and currently out of stock on online retailers. However, for my local guys back home in Kentucky, Preston just recently picked up a batch of these and has them in stock. So if you want one of these, by all means, hit him up, pick one up. They are really cool. I'm really glad that SIG and BFC have partnered up to get us some more of SIG's replicas in an accurate AEG full metal platform. Because if you guys remember, the first MPX that hit the airsoft market was that $30 spring powered one, and guys were like dropping HPA engines in those. This is going to be so much simpler because it's a V2 gearbox, so you can just take one of your cylinder drop-in style engines, throw it in there, and you're good to go. That's about all I have to say on this. I haven't had any field time with it. I've had a little bit of target time with it, and it's nice. It's very ergonomic. I like it a lot. Feels really good. It doesn't come with any kind of sights. Luckily, I have plenty laying around, but it just feels really good to shoulder, good to maneuver. The controls are more almost exactly like an AR-15, so there's no, oh, I have to get used to learning a new system. There's none of that. It is all super intuitive. I really like these. Do I recommend them for the $450 price point as is out of the box? If you're looking for something that you're just going to pick up and slay with, then no. I would stick to possibly an MP5. I know those dominate the market as is. LCT's PP1901 is really good because it's just an AK that takes a 9mm mag. What else is out there? The Vector takes 1,000 mAh stick batteries. You can throw it in there. However, the ergonomics of this surpass all of those. So if you can get this and have the budget to drop an HPA engine in it, or can find batteries small enough to fit in this teeny tiny little handguard up here, by all means, do it. This is cool for cool guy factor alone, and I do not regret purchasing it all. So if you guys have any questions or comments regarding this that I did not go over already, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below, and I will answer accordingly as I find out. If I don't know, I'll straight up tell you, I don't know. I'll look into that. Or if you find out before I do, or know anything that I don't, drop links, comments, so on and so forth. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate the views as always. Stay safe out there.